from Mexico, who we will hear from after we hear from Michael Shank. But first, let's hear from Michael Shank. Michael is the Director of Engagement, Carbon Neutral Cities Alliance. Michael.
Hey everyone, it's nice to be with you. I am the Director of Engagement for an environmental nonprofit that works globally called the Carbon Neutral Cities Alliance. I love projecting in this space. This is what I always do. Last time I was here, I talked about my farm up in Vermont. I think I drew a lesson out of horse poop, which I won't explain now, but some of you may remember that. I deal with people all the time, and the people are angry. And in the United States, you see, this is my country, they're armed and they're angry. And in my state of Vermont, they're armed and they're angry. Distrust is high. 6 out of 10 people have distrust as the default. 64% of people around the world say they can't engage in a civil conversation with someone they disagree with. So if 6 out of 10 people have, as their default, distrust, and if 64% of the people around the world can't engage in a civil conversation with someone they disagree with, how are we going to move any of this agenda forward? And my cities, with the Carbon Neutral Cities Alliance, who are working to decarbonize their grids around the world, are facing this, where the citizenry is saying, you know what? No thanks. We don't want your carbon neutral agenda. We don't want your decarbonization agenda. And that discontent is leading to disengagement, and it's understandable because people have been disenfranchised. They've experienced the disproportionate impacts of climate change. They've been discriminated against on a whole range of factors. And so distrust is high, disengagement is high, discontent is high because of those disproportionate impacts, because of that discrimination, because of that discontent from rising global inequality. So, how do we deal with all those disses? I've got a few disses to counter the disses, and this is what they look like. First, let's disinvest from past precedent in dealing with people because it hasn't worked. I know in the climate space, a lot of people are like, we have to act fast, we have to act fast, we have to act fast, 2030, 2030, 2030. Well, what we've done hasn't worked. So let's disinvest from past precedent. Let's get out of our comfort zone and embrace the discomfort and then disrupt past precedent. I'll give 2 quick examples. I was in Stockholm last month for the UN talks, Stockholm Plus 50, and I am impressed with the Secretary General of the UN and UNEP's director for the language they're using that's disrupting the status quo. Code red. Solidarity is self-interest. Ecocide. Suicide. War on nature. It's language that is disrupting the status quo. They're taking this work to the people using language that the people are using. We need to do that too. We need to disrupt the status quo. We need to disrupt our social engagement, and we need to get out of our comfort zone. In that work and getting out of our comfort zone, it's going to be a lot of long work in engaging with the public, but that's what we have to do. We have to lean in, take time, make sure everyone in the community is engaged, make sure everyone feels like they're an equal stakeholder, make sure everyone's voices are heard in the co-creation of that future. And that's what I'm encouraging my cities to do, to co-create that future, but it does require us to get out of that comfort zone, embrace the discomfort, and disrupt the status quo in terms of how we engage the people.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for those comments. We will move to the fourth of our discussants, and this is